What up, Gears fam, and welcome to Championship Sunday for the Gears Esports Spring Major. It's our favorite day of the tournament weekend. 4 teams remain, and we will find out who will take the lion's share of the $120,000 prize pool that we have for the competition and for the weekend. Will it be RushieZ or PK? Will it be E United or the Kansas City Pioneers? We'll find out as we're going to be kicking off with our losers bracket semifinals here in just a moment. And of course, as we get ready for the action, I got to welcome in my good two friends, former rivals across the main stage as pro coaches, currently joining alongside me on the analyst desk here. Ryan, Ash, how are we doing?
Doing great, man. It's Championship Sunday. We have the 4 teams I think everyone was hoping to see on a Championship Sunday, so I'm just so excited for the competition. I'm so excited to see who's going to win that money, and can anyone stop the Kansas City Pioneers this time around?
Ash?
Yeah, I'm excited too, man. Thank you so much for having me again on Championship Sunday. I love Championship Sunday vibes. It's just like there's an energy in the air. Even though we're not at a live event, I can feel it through the screen. I can see it in your face. I can see it in Ryan's face. I can hear it in Twitch chat. I'm just so excited for this event. And I mean, we've got some absolute killers of teams left in this tournament. KCP, E United, PK, RushieZ. I mean, these are the 4 heavy hitters that we expected today. And they're here and they're ready to play. I'm excited.
Top 4 seeds, best 4 teams all competing today, which means we're going to get the best, most high quality, high octane gears we've seen in quite some time. Let's take a look at the winners bracket though and see what the journey was like for these teams. RushieZ obviously defeating Rebel 3-1, but losing to E United 3-1 for KCP and the Knights. Well, it was a little bit easier. The Knights getting dominated by the Kansas City Pioneers, wasn't even close. And that team, that dynasty is looking like they're well on their way to yet another championship, but they got to get through E United first. And if TJ Force and Powers played just as well alongside Demise and Dyslexic representing LATAM, representing Mexico with the chance to host another trophy to join Identives in the ranks, they might be in for a little bit of a run here. We'll see what that will look like in the winners finals. Meanwhile, flipping down to the losers bracket, where RushieZ and the Kansas City Pioneers had to earn their spot in the losers bracket finals 3-1 over Abuelos. That's Chaos & Co. Abuelos y sus nietos. Knights versus Rebel. Identives ends his run in 5th and 6th place. Still taking home a decent amount of that prize money. Speaking of prize money, Defiance and Team Queso round out the top 8. So that's kind of what we've been looking at. And actually, if we can take a look at the prize pool graphic here and talk through what's at stake today. And here we go. Team Queso, Defiance, walking home with $1,500 already. Rebel and Abuelos y sus nietos with $3,500 already. 4th place will take home $8,000. 3rd place, $16 grand. 2nd place, $30 grand. And 1st place, $56,000 for a weekend of playing gears in your living room, in your basement, or in your bedroom. Not too shabby indeed. Awesome and significant $120,000 prize pool for our Gears Major and online tournament as we wrap up the Gears 5 esports program in entirety, which obviously is, I wouldn't even say bittersweet. It's just a little bitter, but obviously sweet knowing that, these players have had a chance for the past 6-7 years to compete for such a significant prize pool. Lives have been changed, Ash. I know you definitely are someone that knows that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Gears gave me an amazing platform and an amazing opportunity to not only develop my own personal coaching skills, but I mean, I think about this pretty frequently. Like, how often does somebody get to go from like, man, I really want to be Walshy, the guy on the poster at the Halo events back in the day, to like actually having my own dynasty team in esports that will be written in the history books forever. I mean, it's such a special opportunity to be able to compete at this level in Gears esports, and I will forever be thankful and supportive of this scene because look where we are today. It's awesome.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think we know there's some future titles in development at the Coalition, so who knows what the future holds, that's for sure. But hey, Ryan, you've obviously been the one that's been leading the charge in this kind of final chapter, at least for this era of Gears esports. What has it meant to you?
Yeah, I mean, this program, and I'm going to definitely get way more emotional when it's the last event, right? But this program has meant everything to me for so long. And this franchise, this title, this community has meant everything for me for so long. It's given me everything in my career. I mean, I started playing in Gears 1. Now we fast forward all the way into 2022. I had the chance to compete on pro teams. I had the chance to hold trophies myself and to meet lifelong friends and family that I'll cherish forever. Some of the greatest experiences of my life, and gave me an opportunity to work in the industry that I love so much. And for me, it really came full circle because now, obviously, the past couple of years, I've had the opportunity now to manage the program that has done everything for me. So I feel like I've had the opportunity to try to give back to the game that's given me so much. So I couldn't be more thankful for just the community, the game, the title, everything involved has been absolutely incredible. And I'm sure there'll be some tears flowing when it comes to the last event. But I just can't put into words necessarily what this game, what this community, what this program has meant to me.
Absolutely. We could be more thankful for your leadership, the leadership of people like Goalie and everyone else behind the scenes. But hey, this isn't the send-off event yet. We'll save the emotions. We'll save the sentimental aspect of the broadcast for the last major, which is coming on later this year, our summer major. Summer major. Really looking forward to that one. But hey, for now, we still got a tournament to finish, boys. Let's start to jump into the action, at least here a little bit, and then take a look at the schedule for the day so you know when exactly you can watch your favorite teams. We got RushieZ versus the Pittsburgh Knights coming up live here in just a few minutes. United versus the Kansas City Pioneers after that, and then we'll have our losers finals and our grand finals to crown a champion. And I'm so incredibly excited. And guess what? Not only will these players get to win some prizes, you can as well with the Watch and Win program. Some sick swag, the eSwap X Pro controller, which is sick, by the way. The Astro Gaming headsets, blue microphones, in addition to all the great skins that we have in game. So just go to live.gearsofwar.com. You can watch the Twitch feed directly from that panel, and you'll have a chance to win prizes yourself. But it's time to jump into our pre-show, our pre-game analysis for what is going to be a ridiculously good match. I mean, we got RushieZ versus the Pittsburgh Knights. This is a storied match. Two teams that kind of rival one another. Two teams that are very evenly matched, I'd say, in the grand scheme of things. And I'm just excited to jump into the action here. Let's start with the rosters real quick, introducing RushieZ first. And of course, you know them, you love them. They've been a team for a while. They've stuck it through, time and time again. They didn't change their roster after the last major. RushieZ, Avexys, the Chicago Movement King, DeTox, who's been so solid, a rock for this team, and INZEM, the playmaker himself. RushieZ, former multi-champion with Reciprocity and Ghost Gaming. He's done it before, but the other three on the roster, they have not. Can today be the day that they rise to the occasion? We'll find out. On the flip side, we got our Pittsburgh Knights, your Pittsburgh Knights, Mexico's very own Pittsburgh Knights. It's Fearzly, Monkyz, Dezonide, and Raver. Dezonide, the face of this franchise, the face of this team, and alongside Identives, the face of LATAM and Mexico. Raver, Monkyz, Fearzly, three pure slayers who round out this team so incredibly well. We know they have the talent, but they have yet to hoist a trophy themselves. So two teams that have not traditionally been able to perform on Sundays, both in the losers bracket here, Ash.
Yeah, it's, I don't want to say it's surprising because somebody's got to be down there in the losers bracket. And when you look at these top four teams, KCP, obviously reigning champs, super dominant. They've been looking good all event long. Even if they had kind of a rough season, I think they're one of those teams where they show up when it matters. And this weekend is when it matters. United, same thing. They're just doing their thing. They're playing hard. They're playing well. So that leaves RushieZ and RushieZ and PK. And I said RushieZ is a Friday team. They look great on Friday, and then Saturday they're in losers bracket. So, it's kind of to be expected, but I think they're still a really great team. I think this is going to be a really close match, and I'm excited that we get this as our losers bracket match. I mean, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And, it's I'm just excited to start kind of jumping into the specifics and the details here with the map, picks, and bans. Actually, I think you wanted to take the picks, so we'll have Ryan walk us through the bans here.
Yeah, so the bans, as we we're kind of talking about in the pre-show, the bans look about what you'd expect, right? You're going to see PK banning reactor control. They've been banning that pretty much the whole way through. Same with Spire when it comes to RushieZ. And then you go to the execution bans, and both teams obviously do their homework very, very well. You're going to see PK banning canals. Pretty much every team bans canals against RushieZ because they're just unreal at that map. You're going to also see RushieZ banning Afira execution. Teams like PK, teams like United, very good at that map as well. And then you're going to see a training grounds ban. So that to me makes that escalation interesting, because then the question becomes, what do we see between Vascar and Harbor? I think that's going to be definitely something to look forward to when it comes to the picks. Again, nothing really jumps off the screen when it comes to the bans. A lot of sort of auto bans and a lot of just, banning the opposing team's strengths.
Well, let's flip on over and take a look at the maps here. Will it be Harbor? Will it be Vascar? And the answer is, it is Harbor Escalation. And Ash, I know you have some thoughts on these picks.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a storied rivalry. This has been going on for seasons and seasons of Gears Esports. So I really wanted to break down these maps a little bit more in detail. PK picking Regency. They did lose Regency to RushieZ in the Pro League, so a little bit of a surprise, but RushieZ wasn't the greatest on Regency in Pro League. They lost it more than they won it, so PK might be looking at that. RushieZ picking Tomb. They might not be a comfortable map for PK. PK got absolutely smashed by KCP on it, but, KCP is KCP, so I think RushieZ might be able to try to take notes from that matchup previously in the tournament. PK picking Harbor. They beat RushieZ on it in the Pro League 5-2, so they're probably looking at that. Look, they have that confidence. We've done it before. We can do it again when it matters. But RushieZ does have a lot of experience on Harbor, so that you can't count them out ever. I know we've talked about their keys to victory in the past with the winch fight, so you got to look out for that fight. RushieZ picking district. This is a good district team, but they did get exposed a little bit by F1 on Friday. You know, that's F1's a good control team. They take the first map, but you know, maybe PK saw some flaws that they can take into this matchup. So I'd be a little bit worried for RushieZ on this specific map. I'm hoping PK took notes, but I'm hoping also RushieZ, you know, looked back at the VOD, saw what they did wrong. And then if we go to checkout, it's a great map for PK. If we get to that map, I think PK takes it.
Ooh, my goodness. Well, that leads us into our predictions soon. Before that, our keys to victory. Fran's keys to victory. And we're going to start with RushieZ. Ryan, what are their keys to success? What does RushieZ need to do?
Yeah, so as we jump into the Fran's puns to victory, we have no slow starts coming from RushieZ. Regency is going to be very, very important to this series, and even beyond just the map Regency. I mean, it's a championship Sunday. There's 4 teams left. You're playing against contenders the rest of the way through. You cannot have slow starts at all for the rest of today. So I think that map 1 is going to be very important. Come out, hit them in the face, set the tempo early. It's going to be very important. And then the good old Fran pun, rise up. These boys need to rise up. INZEM and DeTox are 2 incredible slayers, 2 incredible talents. They need to be playing at the highest level. They need to be looking bigger, faster, stronger than the boys on PK if this team is going to win.
Love it. I'm looking at Avexys too. We had a little bit of a slow game yesterday in the winners bracket against United, so I'm looking at Avexys to go huge. We know what he's capable of. We know what his ceiling is. On the flip side, we got the Pittsburgh Knights. Ryan, walk me through it. Or sorry, Ashes, walk me through it.
Yeah, I'll take this one. So PK needs to rotate quicker and faster, and they need to match the energy from RushieZ. And I'd even say that we can translate this into one word that the LATAM audience all knows very well, and that's vamos. If they go and they're together, they're going to be able to have that advantage, but it's crucial for them to do that. On top of that, Harbor's going to be that difference maker. Both teams going into this series are 2-1 on Harbor. So whoever takes that Harbor, pretty lightly to take this series.
Harbor will be crucial. And honestly, both of these teams are talented Harbor teams. And we had a little bit of a debate discussion before the show thinking, hey, did PK really pick Harbor? Because RushieZ is damn good on that winch fight. RushieZ is damn good on Harbor. So that is going to be a back-to-back blowing type of match. Trading punches. I'm excited for that. And then on that note, let's go ahead and jump right into predictions here. I'm going to start with Ryan. Ryan, who do you got winning this one?
Yeah, this one was so hard. Obviously, before we went live, we talked about this matchup back and forth, going map by map, where the advantages lie. It's Sunday. What's going to go on here? To me, I look at the maps, and I didn't like what I saw from RushieZ yesterday against United. So to me, my gut just leans towards PK. I have to kind of dig into the LATAM Fools character on this one. I am going to go with PK, but this one's going to be one of the toughest ones to call. Both of these teams are so evenly matched. I'm just going to give PK kind of the benefit of the doubt today.
You didn't like what you saw from RushieZ against the United? PK got 3-0'd, absolutely mollywopped by KCP.
They were playing Shawnee the Menace. It's a different world over there, right? Like, let's get one thing straight.
Shawnee the Menace, Powers, TJ playing like that. I'd say it's pretty comparable. Look, I'm gonna go with RushieZ for this one. And obviously a lot of PK fans out there. I love you all. Sorry, me amo. But at the end of the day, I always get bit right in the butt trusting RushieZ on Saturdays, Sundays. But I do think they're going to rise to the occasion. I think they know that their time is running out. Avexys, DeTox, INZEM to win a championship. Obviously, PK, you could say the same thing. I think they're going to step up here. I personally think they're going to take that Game 3 Harbor. I think you're going to see RushieZ, and I think it's DeTox, absolutely bully in that winch fight, and that's going to be the difference maker. Game 3, the difference maker. I think RushieZ wins this either 3-1 or 3-2. Maybe clutches up on checkout. Ash, how about you as a tiebreaker?
I've seen teams in this situation be too focused on what's next, right? And both of these teams know that they got absolutely destroyed by the teams waiting in the grand finals. Or the winners bracket finals, I apologize. So I think when we look at this matchup, to me, which team is going to be more focused on the here and now? And I have to give that to PK. I see PK taking this series 3-2.
All right, we got 2 for PK.
I'm going to say it right now, by the way, Nick, I'm going to let you know, John is, if we both took one team and that team doesn't win and John took the other one, we're not hearing the end of it. So
you're not hearing the end of it.
I'm going to let you know right now. Oh, you two coaches are number 1 and 2 winning. Yeah, it's coming. Just know it's coming.
Ryan knows it too well at this point. That's my brother over there. That's awesome. Hey, the banter is an all-time high. We're a split house here over in the analyst desk. Let's welcome in our casters. It's Taylor Freeflections Noble, and no, I'm just kidding. Reflections, the voice, the eyes, the beauty of Gears Esports himself, my man. How's that, Taylor? And then alongside the brains of Gears Esports, it's Toby Campbell. Gentlemen, how are you doing? And where are you leaning here in this one? Who's going to take it?
You know what? Great points all around, John. Just with the free flexion stuff, I can't support you. I'm going Pittsburgh Knights. I got to be honest with you. I'm going 3 for PK across the board. But, Ash just brings up a great point. Right now, Pittsburgh Knights know, their task is ahead. They want to beat RushieZ, and that's really what they're focused on. And I love that. I do. And I love that interview last night that I ended up having. Toby, though, you're the smart one. Who are you going for?
Toby, I need you to join me, brother. I need you to join me.
Listen, man, this was hard. This was tough. This is just... I know there was some very serious matches yesterday, serious losses for both teams, and Ashes makes a great point. And I'm kind of leaning that way. I usually go for numbers, stats, maps, and things, and the map pool in general. Yes, I think Harbor will be a very important match in general between these two teams, but I just feel like PK are better in the present moment than RushieZ, historically. They have been usually the team that more dialed in that moment.
Oh, no.
And RushieZ, they start off strong in majors. We've said
the
already on Fridays. But then come Sundays, they just turn into a different team. It's so disappointing. But hey, we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Well, he's either going
Don't let me down, RushieZ. I'm going to showboat the hell out of this thing.
We are all screwed if RushieZ wins. The Fallout victory lap is going to be... He's going to be in rare form on this test.
I'm going to force run down to St. Louis, right? I'm going to fly around the office with the RushieZ flag. I don't know where I'm going to get a RushieZ flag along the way, but you better believe it. The showboating
I got one.
There. My man Taylor has. Of course he does. I'll borrow his.
Don't let me down.
All right, boys. Look, I want to jump into the match here. I know that people want to see the match. It's going to be one hell of a match, as we all know. We got 4 for PK, 1 for RushieZ. Chat, let us know who you want to win, PK or RushieZ. And let's go ahead and jump right into this damn action. It's going to be a great match. Taylor, Toby, over to you.
Get it, baby. It's going to be a fun time. Hey, look, seriously, Fallout really is going to be doing that victory lap. Like I said, either looking like the smartest guy in the room or the dumbest, all right? And it's going to be one of the two. It can't be in between. It is going to be a good match, predictions aside. And this matchup means a lot, not only for the fans, but also for each and really all 8 of the members competing right now in the losers bracket. Toby, North America versus Latin America, right? This is kind of a typical thing we normally see. But who wants it more? That's the real question, and I think it comes down to that personally for me, Toby, but I do like the fact that we're both going for PK, which means we're both seeing the same thing.
I think so. I mean... Again, I'll go back to statistics for a moment, right? In terms of this map, in terms of the future maps, we've already seen stats have gone pretty crazy, right, in the past. In terms of, let's say PK yesterday, for example, with Defiance on checkout. PK, a very good map for them, the best execution team, arguably, in the long term in Gears Esports. But then they lost that. RushieZ have had difficult times. Just think about Ritual, the very last map we casted yesterday.
Yes.
RushieZ got demolished on it.
Yeah, they did.
When they've beaten United before in the last bit, it all comes down to this. I think Regency will be a big telltale as to who is living in the present moment, as Ash has said.
What a start that was. Talk about living in the present moment. Flawless for Pittsburgh Knights. Everywhere you look, RushieZ is getting slayed out. That's a flawless start in terms of kills for the boys of PK. Monkyz, Imbar is there. Can he get it? DeTox closing the gap. I believe Imbar's still on the ground potentially, but with the way DeTox is moving, I assume it did in fact get back, and yes, it did. I can see that from Monkyz' perspective. So great kill from DeTox. Still, though, a fantastic start for Pittsburgh Knights. But RushieZ seemed to be clawing their way back, but what a shock that was.
Yeah, I like that shock indeed. Really good start from PK here. Raver and DeTox currently out of the action as we start considering the setups for the next hill. You can see Raver and Monkyz leading the way there. And RushieZ also trying to set up as well. I think that's a huge deal, right? RushieZ, they do like the setups. We were talking about it yesterday, of course, Taylor. They like to slow things down. PK, meanwhile, can also very much play the in-your-face kind of gameplay. And if they can get early to the setups, right, PK, they can kind of rip that advantage away from RushieZ. That strength, if you will, at the very least, and really give them a leg up. But the question is, let's see if these nades in the meantime, or his utility can break through that RushieZ defense. It looks like it might be able to, Taylor.
Avexys maybe a bit too much tunnel vision on that Lancer lane, and he eventually gets taken down from the nade. That opens up an opportunity for Pittsburgh Knights to barrel their way through the hill, but INZEM might be turning the tides. I mean, he picks up 2. Raver actually hasn't been finished. There it is. He's gone. He walks straight up the Fearzly, no fear whatsoever on Championship Sunday, and he picks up the 3rd. That looks like it could have been a rough hill for RushieZ, or at least a bit of a retake from Pittsburgh Knights' perspective, but RushieZ holds their ground, but it's not over with yet, Toby.
It's not. Short spawn went to PK, of course, so they still very much had this opportunity to get into it. 55 seconds still left on this hill. It's already seemed like an eternity for RushieZ actually, how long they've been having to defend against PK. Full red is RushieZ. DeTox will follow as well, and yet PK will take that hill by force. 10 seconds left on the Ember. Meanwhile, 5 seconds on the frags as well. I think INZEM should be able to get them in time, yeah, without too much aggression put his way, but 35 seconds left on the clock. The question always was whether RushieZ would actually go for this hill, and it seems like no. They want to reset, Taylor. They want to stick to that slower pace, get those power weapons, play Gears by the textbook, right? And they're doing it from the very, very start with the utmost respect for PK. Currently, Avexys 0-3. Let's focus on him for just a second, Taylor. He didn't have a great time on the talk bow yesterday, shall we say, against United in these very big tests, their first test yesterday. Let's see if he can do anything with the Ember now.
Yeah, I don't think Avexys had a good showing against United in general. This is the man that I'm looking to really step it up. You know, when we talk about 2 more majors left, we talk about Avexys, right? You have to, because he's been representing this RushieZ roster, this RushieZ organization in general, not the roster, but the org, since their entry into Gears Competitive. So this championship would mean quite a bit. But will he be able to connect, right? It's one thing to mean a lot. It's another to execute it well. And right now he has nobody to shoot at, so it's going to be all quiet from his perspective. But I'm sure it's going to heat up soon.
Yeah, very good sign, of course, saving that ammo. Don't need to do anything special to ensure the successful defense. The charge will come through. All 4 PK players, we can see, using that X-ray vision through the spectator system we have. Trying to be a bit sneaky and peeking out. Not able to connect just yet. Stuns are going to be thrown in for PK. Still 55 seconds left until, so all to play for still.
Said, a lot of time remaining. RushieZ traditionally has slow starts. It seems as if they had that slow start, but they are clawing their way back. But Pittsburgh Knights are making great headway for this hill. 1 nade out, second also gone. Monkyz might have not seen it clearly. He walked straight into it, but no worries. Pittsburgh Knights still regain control of the hill, and that's going to be a lot of points still going their way. Great start for Fearzly. You know, we had a chance to, or at least I had a chance to interview him, maybe not yesterday, but at least leading into the major, he had a lot of confidence, and he really feels good, you know, about this major. And actually, that was Friday. So either way, man, Fearzly, big fan of him. I think he's been a great addition to this roster. Pittsburgh Knights haven't looked back since.
Couldn't agree more. INZEM forward. Monkyz trying to challenge for kill and position. They will find it with a little bit of help. RushieZ again getting the nades. Fearzly this time getting the Ember for the first time this game. We just a little bit of chaos now as we go for this next central hill. A difficult one to actually get hold of along. RushieZ will throw a nade once more in Regency. Not as successful as he was before, nothing connecting. But RushieZ are hurtling in from all directions right now.
Nice elimination for Fearzly to open it up. That brings RushieZ's forces down to 2, but 2, I guess, is all they need. They will have control of the hill. Much needed points going their way. Of course, Pittsburgh Knights, they're not going to sit idly by. They will go for the attack once again. Love that Avexys is keeping player 6 Dezo in check. Dezo has no choice but to push up. Surely he dies, but he does find some real estate to remain okay, get his health back into play. And then he rotates back down. DeTox, he's about to get pressured. He'll back away. He wants to maintain his life and really bring numbers to the favor of RushieZ. I like that move. No ego challenges here. But on the other side, Dezo will find the pick onto RushieZ. That opens up the right side. Pittsburgh Knights now start collapsing in. It's going to be a brawl for sure. INZEM, RushieZ trying to keep this hill locked in place. And it seems as if they might be able to. What a kill from INZEM. I called him RushieZ earlier. It was INZEM. Much respect, that man. Well done. And look at this. Nearly a tied ball game now.
Yeah, I love that. INZEM will get the double. He'll clean up the map completely for RushieZ to get the remaining points right on this hill and start to look elsewhere, ready for the setup for the next hill. In terms of the power weapons, they're not up for just quite a while yet. 30 seconds, which seems like an eternity in control time here. PK will look for the next hill. That will be at Garden. Avexys is already positioned there. Well, excuse me, rather. The folks will be on Garden. The hill will be where exactly they're standing. Now, things slowing down for a second. Power weapons will be up any moment now, the remaining ones at least. It's interesting, right? RushieZ just sitting across the midline of the map, ready to choose where they actually push now. They really do need to consider pacing, though. They do need to consider where they're going to go next once they get the power weapons on the go. Ember for INZEM. Let's see if he can find any headshots now, which can be quite actually influential on this hill in particular.
Sure. Oh, especially on Raver, right? I mean, he's the tip of the spear, it seems, in conjunction with Fearzly. Like this angle from RushieZ, and I like that down onto Monkyz. That opens up a lane now to push from the top side, plus you have pressure from the right side. we saw RushieZ, you know, get a bit. Oh, why? Hold up a second. Where did this guy come from? Dezo on the flank. You love to see it if you're a PK fan. Maybe not so much if you're a RushieZ fan. What looks so promising from RushieZ's perspective, once Monkyz died and that lane opened up from the top, I thought a pincer was going to collapse in, but it doesn't because Dezo disrupts it all. But RushieZ does get the close spawns.
Yeah, great job, Dezo. Good shot. Down one. Will try and clean the kill. It's not a give, though. He will get taken down as RushieZ comes flying in as well. 4 players of RushieZ trying to charge in. Fearzly gets one. It's a trade out on both ends, but it looks like RushieZ will just clinch that hill in the end.
They definitely do. 20 seconds could go their way. Of course, they're probably going to hop off with 10 seconds left. Actually, a little bit more, 14. That's fine. They want that early rotational advantage. They know they need to get to this hill. Pittsburgh Knights are already going to be there. I like RushieZ's spot, though, Toby. They're on the outside. Yes, they don't have hill control, but they have spawn control, and therefore they also can slowly work their way in. But I also like Pittsburgh Knights' setup, specifically with Monkyz and Dezo. With them being where they currently are, it's not going to be easy for RushieZ to clear that corner. They're going to have to swing it wide. Meanwhile, Dezo is most likely going to be peppering them, and maybe even Fearzly. It's going to be a tough hill to break, but again, RushieZ does have spawn control, but they haven't been really that successful in breaking hills. Will this time be the charm?
Yeah. Avexys with that classic angle of the traditional spawn for all game modes. So deep, gives you the angle onto that hill very nicely indeed. Nice little shot to the right. Monkyz forced to push through. He will find one. Avexys will trade out though. Nice double for Avexys. Finally entering into the game in a big way. DeTox left on his own, but it doesn't matter. Turning around, reading the flank from Raver. He finds it. Question though, yes, RushieZ did maintain control of that spawn. Excellent point, Taylor, indeed. And that, as a result, is literally a 3v1. They can come straight in to find Dezo. I don't think, Monkyz has just about got there in time. Maybe gets one. Fearzly gets 1 kill, but not much more. I think it's a 2v2, maybe a little bit more for RushieZ if they still have this short spawn coming in through.
Really is amazing how quickly Pittsburgh Knights are able to get to the hill despite them getting wiped off. And I'm looking at the X-ray vision. I'm seeing nothing but blue outlines as RushieZ is pushing in. And I'm thinking, surely they have the hill. And then Pittsburgh Knights already have a refresh on it. So well done from them. But ultimately, they do lose it. Monkyz just trying to be annoying. That's really what he's trying to do. Maybe he picks up a kill here and there, staggers the death. But ultimately, he does it. RushieZ, good job. But still some more work needing to be done. We focused on Fearzly at the beginning on a stat line. He continues to be the stat leader, not only in kills and assists. Well, Raver has the assist, but damage done. I think that's the biggest thing, right? 12,000. He's getting shots into the RushieZ members and making Dezo, making Monkyz more confident to push.
And he's also collecting the kills, creating the kills and collecting. You can usually you do one or the other, but if you can do both at the same time at this high level, at these stakes, Taylor, then you're doing a huge, huge job for your team. Avexys, Ember in hand once more, trying to find the connection on Fearzly to kind of break this deadlock, if you will. Be the icebreaker. That will be the headshot to kickstart things now. 2 players of RushieZ can rush on through if needs be. Lovely check on the Raver. That's all you need when you have a 4v3 advantage and your whole team pushing in. DeTox will find Raver. Monkyz trading out though. Ember, charge up once more. Has to be careful, there's Avexys. RushieZ need to stay alive now to make sure they can hold on to this hill for the long term.
Great shot from Avexys over cover onto Dezo. That pretty much eliminates Pittsburgh Knights around this area, so they do have control. RushieZ might have a bit of an objective in mind. Clear the spawn out so they can have control of spawns leading into P2. INZEM, however, is going to connect a nice shot onto Dezo. Looks like RushieZ are waking up. Yes, they had a sluggish start off of the first rotation of hills, but as we come back to Rose Garden, P1 off the second, man, these guys are looking stronger than ever. Monkyz, he's caught between a rock and a hard place. INZEM and DeTox, he will fall. And I must say, I kind of am, in a way, feeling a bit of a shift. It's not as clear-cut at the moment, Toby, but I really do feel like RushieZ are going to have a stronger second half than they did the first.
Yeah, and you'd hope so as well. They do tend to be a team that kind of comes back quite often. It's because they have slow starts. Meanwhile, PK kind of just hit the ground running instantly, right? They're just playing in the present moment, if you will. Typically speaking, Raver getting angled out. Will just drop the nade. I wonder if he has actually got 1 nade left. Avexys, yeah, it looks like he'll pick that one up. So, moving on towards this defense of the next hill. INZEM sneaked a shot. The important thing is he needs to get out. He needs to fly. He needs to run early. And he does just about. Shot grenade thrown using a nice little reaction shot, if you will. Or reaction throw, I suppose you could term that. And they've still kept that short spawn. Importantly, of course, RushieZ still fully aware of that one. Embar in hands of RushieZ now.
Oh, this is a critical break from Pittsburgh Knights. RushieZ, they're filling themselves. They're coming back. They've got the score, nearly the score lead. RushieZ are starting to feel confident. Therefore, Pittsburgh Knights have to shut them down immediately. If they don't, RushieZ could very well take the score away, and there it is. I mean, Pittsburgh Knights don't even get close. RushieZ, a definitive hill control, a definitive team fight going their way. I really do think Pittsburgh Knights might start finding some trouble. Again, the momentum in RushieZ's hands now. Pittsburgh Knights have to start shutting them down. You see the early rotation. This is going to be critical. RushieZ cannot break this hill. Pittsburgh Knights need to be 10 toes down, baby. Hold their ground. Be an impenetrable force. If they're not, RushieZ, they might win this map, and that's a great shot from RushieZ.
Great shot, as well as that shotgun shot as well. Equalizing any damage advantage. Dez again by surprising him. Excellent job. And you might notice, Taylor, on that rotation, importantly, it was like 25 seconds left. INZEM was already blocking the short spawn and preventing PK from pushing across that side. If anything, they could have pushed out the traditional spawns to the right of RushieZ as well and still had right hand. RushieZ, honestly, the perfect rotation to start off this very important hill, as RushieZ literally just about to take the score lead. One shot left for RushieZ now as well to make the difference.
It's so weird with RushieZ. They're a team that catches fire in the most weird ways. And I don't know what the momentum shift was. Maybe it was just going back to P1 of Roses and just getting that full rotation in. Pittsburgh Knights were on fire in the first half, but then in a second, RushieZ haven't looked back, and they've been incredible. But they do that so often. In a way, it's almost a unique trait. And great shot from RushieZ to take the head off of Raver. DeTox fight in mid. This is going to be an important fight just to kind of hold the spawn control for the next. But hey, Monkyz will win that. It's getting scrappy inside the hill for sure. RushieZ, though, he's on fire, and he's not going to be extinguished anytime soon. The lead is starting to get out of hand. 254 to 218. Pittsburgh Knights, again, I'm going to say it like a broken record. They have to shut this momentum down for RushieZ, and they're not doing it.
We've got Monkyz 6 to 13. Embar on the back of his body right now. Let's see if he can do anything with that on the next rotation. Of course, Raver and co will clean up RushieZ on the previous hill. This is the important one, of course, Taylor. We're very close now to the 300 mark. Regency could really stamp how this whole series will play out based on who wins this map.
Dezo has to clutch up. We've seen him fight this fight so well. Monkyz with an Embar in hand. He's going to whiff that shot. Now puts a lot of pressure on a Raver. Raver's going to be back in. Nice shot into Avexys to drop. RushieZ also gone. Raver off the pickup. We'll pick up the elim. Toby, you wisely said this hill means a lot. It means a lot not only for Pittsburgh Knights to get back into the game, but for RushieZ to solidify a win. Pittsburgh Knights needed that shutdown, and they get it.
And huge revive from Monkyz as well. Great shots from his shotgun right there when we need it most for the PK roster. Avexys finding Dezo. And that will be the 4v3 running across the map. PK again trying to equalize those numbers with nothing but pure aggression. DeTox trying to stay back. 3 players of PK now looking for those numbers. Look how far away they are from the hill. And they have to respond, RushieZ. Great movement from DeTox, but will not get any more. Monkyz very much coming into his own now. And that's exactly what PK need to do if they want to win this major.
But he can't stay up there. He has to push in. He needs to assist his teammates. Pittsburgh Knights need all the real estate possible inside this hill, and they get it. They take it back. Great composure. I love that they're fighting. They understand RushieZ are so narrowly close to victory, and the cherry on top is Monkyz will pick up the fresh Embar. Now, this hill pretty much done with. RushieZ can technically still win off of it, but you see on the mini-map, Toby, they're going to rotate out. They understand this next hill is where they want to win it, and they're going to try and set up as heavily as they can. Actually, no, look at the double back. Even though they can't win off of this hill, they want every point possible. So I don't know if it was worth it to get the scrap time. That opens up a door for Pittsburgh Knights to get on next.
And it's very unlike RushieZ as well to do that. Just stick to what you do best. Just go for setups. Now you have to crack through PK. Now, I wonder, has the numbers situation changed in just enough in their favor to make this work? Dezo has the Embar. It's useless, though, when 3 players of RushieZ are taking you down as fast as they physically can. 1 frag grenade in hand for Raver. It could make all the difference.
He's got to make this work.
He does.
Does he place it right? Does he place it left? Well, he kind of splits the divot, and unfortunately, it doesn't have an impact at all. Raver's forced to back away. RushieZ gets an effective break. Monkyz has to pop off now more than ever. RushieZ a good body shot. Matter of fact, that's going to be a full finish on a Dezo. Pittsburgh Knights, though, still have real estate in the hill. A 3v3. But I love that angle from RushieZ, and Pittsburgh Knights will get put into the blender, and Toby RushieZ will take map number 1.
Wow, and you thought it could have got any closer there, or literally could have got extremely close at the end, but thanks to a really good push, actually, from RushieZ, and I was concerned for a second, but it's not like them, right, to play in that unorthodox manner, right, to go around and play for a little bit of scrap. No, they tend to be the team that wants to be there first, and typically they win when they do that, right, Taylor? They usually win. They're usually one of the best teams at actually doing that stylistically. But they made it work. They really did. Avexys had a rough start, which I think is owing to his KD a little bit in the 9-16 margin, but he didn't have a kill for a long time, remember, Taylor? He was missing shots with the M-bar. You know, things necessarily weren't going too well for him, but it seemed like he pulled himself together. He still started getting onto the kill feed, if you will, and despite the efforts of Monkyz, Raver getting the Ember at times, we did see RushieZ hold it together and come together as a team and win in enough slaying situations to come back on through. And I think you nailed it there, to be honest, as a kind of a summary of that map, Taylor, is RushieZ typically do better in the second half. They start off slow, and then they get their footing. They whip out the strat book. They're like, oh, usually we do this. Let's go back to this. Let's just reset and slow it down. And it worked, to be fair to them. Risky maneuver at the end, but it did pay off. And to their credit, they've just won the first map against a really, really good PK.
You know, when I first started casting Gears, Ryan Full Summers was a big influence. Obviously, even at that time, he was coaching and he was doing his thing. And you know, I'm really proud of how he's. I didn't mean for this to be like me pumping him up, but it turned into that. But when I was saying, you know, the very first time I heard him say, sometimes it's a tale of two halves. I remember very clearly we were casting Escalation on Asylum, and you know, that up top hill, right? Sometimes it benefited the CQC fights and it benefited the more aggressive team. Normally, it was Latin America at that time. But that statement rings true here on Regency. It really was a tale of two halves. RushieZ were very lackluster off the rip, off the start. But when we got back to P1 on the second go-around, right, we got back to Rose Garden. You could tell the momentum shifted. RushieZ started hitting better shots and clearing Pittsburgh Knights quicker in the team fights than they ever had before. And that's when I kind of pointed out the first time that Pittsburgh Knights have to shut down RushieZ's momentum. And they had multiple opportunities to do that, but RushieZ absolutely refused to budge. And once RushieZ started, you know, getting more and more confident as the second hill rotations ended up coming through, you can really see again that RushieZ got even better and even better and even better. A short period though, Pittsburgh Knights did show new life, and it was mainly on that statue hill. Saw some great revives, some wonderful kills and slays. Monkyz was doing a beautiful job fighting where P2 hill usually is, picking up, 2 members and then rotating into the hill, ultimately getting the fresh M-bar. But RushieZ, they remain composed. They do that weird strat where they pushed with 10 seconds left on the last hill. Very unorthodox, like you said, but honestly, unorthodox sometimes is a great thing because it ended up working. They attacked where the close spawns were going to be, so even if they did lose this fight, they would still have close spawns for a second team fight. But told me they didn't need it. The first team fight was enough, and they ended up working it very well. That was RushieZ catching fire, catching momentum, and you can see how deadly they can be when they do.
In a way, if we step back and look at this last play, it's a very good point. They did attack the close spawn right first, and that is, if you want to go back to textbook, that's kind of how you play control, ideally. If a team is already there, even if one player is already there, go through that side, especially with more numbers than the opposing side, and then you keep that short spawn. And actually, that was a lot of the hills where RushieZ got a lot of points on, or a lot of success on, were the hills where they played for the short spawn, and they had the short spawn on the go to be able to contend with the slaying power of PK. So in a way, I mean, RushieZ kind of went back to basics in that way, but it was kind of the way that it put us off, Taylor, I think, is that they came out of nowhere. They kind of like ran up the middle staircase, then suddenly they're attacking 10 seconds. That's right. It seemed like it was random, but no, I'm sure it was coordinated, and it was kind of delayed just because they were waiting for numbers. They were waiting for everyone to get back. All right, 3, 2, 1, now we'll go. And they did, and they made it pay off. And a really, really good insight, actually, perhaps into the psychology in one way, because that takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of heart. And in those closing moments where there's so much pressure, they practiced at Regency, they kind of know how it goes. At this point, it's just executing, right? And they executed. Usually what's going to hurt you in that execution department is literally is the moment, is how you are feeling in the moment, how confident you are, how warmed up you are, you're confident in how you're playing around corners, even something as basic as that it can be the kind of the determinant of how successful you are. And so good thing for RushieZ. I'm really happy with that. I think generally speaking, Regency stylistically is a map that they should be winning, especially when you compare it to the later control. If we do see it, of course, District. Right. I think that kind of more favors PK's playstyle, although RushieZ, I guess we'll talk about District in a little bit in terms of their recent
we definitely will.
losses. But it's stylistically, I think PK is still looking good. Let's get into the execution, shall we?
We absolutely shall. Tomb execution, map 2. It's going to be a good one. You know, something tells me though, I'm favoring RushieZ on map 2. I've seen them play Tomb quite well, and they're very confident. You know, Pittsburgh Knights are no slouches, obviously, but I think Pittsburgh Knights, you know, they're going to have to really force that mid fight and do it in a way that shuts RushieZ down. If we split up into individual lanes, like, you know, your traditional sniper lane, torque bow lane, and then your mid lane, RushieZ might have an advantage there. But if we get into the traditional team fight in mid, I think both RushieZ and Pittsburgh Knights have great teamwork, but I think Pittsburgh Knights can really excel there. But one concern that I do have, if that team fight does occur for Pittsburgh Knights, is INZEM. I mean, that man was not only picking up kills, he finished off with 23 assists in the stat line on Regency. He had 18,000 damage. He ended up being the stat leader in the entire lobby. And that's a beautiful thing. When we talk about INZEM and him coming back off of retirement, once he transitioned games and came back to Gears, took a little bit for him to get warmed back up, right? You could see glimpses of the old INZEM, but he wasn't necessarily full form. Come mid-split, though, he was definitely in full form. And I mean, now that we're in split 3, you're seeing the old INZEM plays, the old INZEM domination on the battlefield. He's scary to deal with because now he's a double-edged sword. We talked about it on Regency with one of the players. When you're picking up kills and you're picking up assists and you're picking up the damage as well, you're like the golden egg, man. You got it all, and INZEM has it all. So he's going to be a big factor when we head into Tomb execution. But I talked about a lot, Toby. I talked about a lot. Is there anything that stands out to you? But more importantly, do you think for Pittsburgh Knights or for RushieZ, they could be at a disadvantage for a certain reason?
Yeah, I think something we haven't really touched upon just yet as commentators and analysts is the fact that PK historically have had some very good times on Tomb. They've had some very strong maps on Tomb. Yes, it goes without saying they're a very good execution team. I said it already. This broadcast, perhaps the best execution team of all time on Gears 5. But if we cast our minds back to, of course, a previous major, I think it was actually the Winter Major, PK absolutely dominated Team Queso in a very important map, number 5. And this is kind of this map is kind of provides situations where PK can go off in that center, in that kind of middle ground where it's just total chaos. PK can really do well. You know, we know that from all kinds of maps, even Spire showing that off in the past. But then you have Monkyz, right? A Torpo, right? If you have that 1v situation where Monkyz can really dominate and has a really good time, and gets into his kind of usual form of, say, the Pro League, where he finishes top KDA, you know, or close to it season after season, then that's something to really be concerned with. And I was staring at Monkyz throughout that time. Yes, we were giving Avexys perhaps a hard time. We were just talking about INZEM. But Monkyz, I want to see him be a little bit more aggressive and find those kills to get that confidence he needs. Because I feel like he's got all the mechanical skill in the world. The stats don't lie. You know, the numbers do not lie. He is one of the best players and was, I believe in seasons past, called the best player by some of us on the talent team, right? And so with that said, we need him to be the Monkyz we know him to be. We've seen Powers in the previous major. We saw Powers yesterday. He's doing it, right? He's making the impact. He's making the difference that can literally shut off RushieZ on one of the strongest maps in Ritual and 3-1 them after losing 3-1 to RushieZ in Pro League, right? Yeah. RushieZ, we need to see players like Monkyz, and of course the PK side, we need Monkyz himself to turn up like the rest of the players, like Deza was doing just in the previous map, like Raver, etc. And that is just such an important point to me, because I feel like you kind of need that edge at this point, not only for this match against RushieZ, but also looking forward. You know, as Ryan was saying, as Ashes was saying, you know, to the future matches, we know TJ and Powers could go off and make the difference to just change everything, the whole dynamic and all the past just is wiped, and then you force into the present moment. We need that from PK, but also RushieZ, and I think Monkyz is probably the one person to look out for on Tomb in particular.
Yeah, his stats don't lie, like you said, man. I mean, he was the #1 KDA leader leading into the major. It was incredible to see the progress he made, because he did fall off is not the word, okay? He didn't fall off, but he definitely tapered off a bit from where he was in previous seasons. And I mean seasons, but not splits, because it really went that far back where he was tapered off. Pittsburgh Knights, they went through this weird transitional phase where they went from the best Latin American team without question, nobody could touch them, to then we had the era of, you know, Toadi's led team with Fire and Ice, and then ultimately Noble, and then a door opened back up once Noble disbanded for Pittsburgh Knights to retake control. Actually, excuse me, they did that after the summer major when they got second place with Chaos. I think that's when Pittsburgh Knights really started to excel, and then ultimately that led to the disbandment of Noble. But enough of a history lesson. But Monkyz really is a guy, when he does get loose, he's deadly, he's scary, and the KDA does prove that absolutely. Another aspect as well, as we head into map 2, Pittsburgh Knights hopefully will regain. And what do I mean by that? Well, they take a big loss, obviously, in winners, but clearly they regain because they're still here. They still are alive. They're top 4. That's amazing to me. It really is. But let's think about who Pittsburgh Knights are. They're a team that top 4 is fine, but they're used to that. Like, it's nothing special to them. They want it all. They want the championship, but so does RushieZ. Top 4, they're very familiar with it as well. So this is a big map for them to show that they have regained. If they don't, then I'm definitely going to have a lot of concerns about them heading into map 3. But a great recovery and a great start, it seems, as DeTox will fall off. Monkyz, the man you said you wanted to see do exceedingly well, I believe picks up first blood, or at least picks up 2 eliminations off the rip. You love to see that.
I honestly think, I haven't really thought about this before, but it makes a lot of sense. I think this might be Monkyz's best map in terms of his all-star performances. Against Team Queso in that previous major that I was talking about, he went 12-0 playing in that position. 12-0 in a map 5. That's how good Team Queso were playing against PK. Says a lot, in my opinion. Now, let's see if PK can keep this form up with that kind of aggression, that speed. But look at this strat. 2 players, make it 3 essentially on this Torpo side, allowing them to push through this Torpo side, allowing them to at least quick pick that Torpo if nothing else. Monkyz has a down on INZEM, but RushieZ are close, aren't they?
They are. They're very close. Dezo, though, is closer. He'll pick up 1. RushieZ in trouble. He's going to fall. And now it's brought down to a 3v1 of INZEM. I know you like that push with the overload on the Torpo side, Toby. We've been seeing that develop a little bit more. Funny enough, I want to say Team Queso or Fury 1, one of the rosters down there on the lower end of the standings started doing that. And they were finding great success. And it seems as if, now it's kind of reached the top 4 teams of RushieZ and Pittsburgh Knights as they are now overloading Torpo. And it's interesting to see how Tomb has kind of developed from individual split lanes to then in split 2, we saw, a big congeal of just players in mid fighting through tree. And now we're seeing an overload on Torpo kind of come back into fashion.
Love it. I really do like this. Change now. And PK starting this off against RushieZ. RushieZ are going to react, though, flying through the middle. Monkyz is down. That's the player you need to target. DeTox with a double as he starts to get into Championship Sunday in a big way. Meanwhile, Avexys will find his kill elsewhere. RushieZ will get that first blood, of course, and then finish off the round from there. And, just briefly speaking, it seems like RushieZ very quickly picking up on PK's strategy there. They're kind of just meeting them head on at that point, and they just want to challenge, you know what, we won't do anything too crazy. We won't do our typical, kind of RushieZ strategies where it employs out-stratting or simply playing a bit more passive. No, we'll go head-to-head. We'll just go the PK way, if you will, head-to-head with the shotguns. And it worked. They do have the players for it, but they do need to make sure they can maintain that if that is their strategy going forward.
Yeah, 2 ways you can counter this aggression from Pittsburgh Knights. They can somehow pigeonhole themselves on Torpo, and they have to exit, and then there gives you an opportunity to lancer them down and get the finish, or you can just meet them head on, and it seems like that was the strat that worked last time. This time, they will isolate Monkyz, right? They see him as an opportunity to take down the spearhead player who had a big impact in round 1 and round 2, and RushieZ is off to a great start like they were in round 3, and they're looking to wrap up this round in a pretty dominant fashion, depending. It is a 4v2. Deza with the Torpo has to start finding some bodies. If he doesn't, well, RushieZ, they're going to pretty much soar through this first round, or excuse me, this round.
Yeah, he needs it. He needs a stick. That is the game changer. That's the thing, probably the only thing really that can change things at this point. RushieZ aren't one to give away easy kills, that's for sure. Fearzly trying to find down Avexys, and he does. Great aiming to the left, you might have noticed that, just to avoid the damage, but it will come on through in the end and down him. Dezo trying to respond, but can't get through. Very, very difficult to clutch at this level and in Gears 5 in general compared to previous Gears titles. A good job from RushieZ. We've gone back to a very quick start, clearly with Monkyz at the helm for the first 2 rounds. And RushieZ do respond. Usually around this time, if any major strategies will occur, you might expect them to really start being introduced at this point. Keep an eye on the overhead, see if anything deviates plan-wise for either team. It looks like more of the same, really. The classic 1v1 to the left. Have to keep a close eye on INZEM throughout this, but all the focus will be on this Torpo fight, of course.
Quite a bit of focus. And also take note that Monkyz isn't being as aggressive pushing into INZEM. He's kind of taking a step back to see how this fight on Torpo ends up unfolding, which now, is he going to spring into action? Because it's not going well for Pittsburgh Knights. They lose one member, and now you have Fearzly, who's pretty much by himself, but Monkyz sees the value in assisting Raver. Raver now needs some help in a 1v2 himself. The sniper still on the ground. This would be a bold push from Raver if he goes into this 1v2. I don't think he needs to commit that much. We now see him backing away. I think that was the smartest play for him to make.
Yeah, it's about finding your opportunity when you're in numbers disadvantage or trying to clutch. I think Raver's still trying to hunt that, but no. DeTox will shot holds as a defensive maneuver to make sure Raver does not find him. Nice little body check to ensure Fearzly goes down. Monkyz any moment now should be cleaned up. Lancers all out for RushieZ. Textbook from them. Lovely job indeed. 3 rounds in a row now, Taylor. This is very nice from RushieZ. And I wouldn't usually think of PK as the first team to kind of change your strategy in this heads up, but head to head rather. But maybe they should be considering it now. You already mentioned that Monkyz kind of changed how he's approaching this Torpo push. Seemed like more of a controversial push or an unorthodox push at the very least.
That's right.
At the first round, but now perhaps a little bit predictable. You know, they've tried to add some variation to it, but RushieZ seem to have their number now. And you know what PK like, they can certainly wolf pack any area of any map if they to please. Nonetheless, they will stick to that. They will quick pick. RushieZ will go all in for the snipe though, so we kind of have a little bit of a change in the map here.
Yeah, and Monkyz going to be first blooded once again. You can tell RushieZ is really focused on him to the point where it's forcing him to stay back, but even staying back isn't working. The benefit though for Pittsburgh Knights is Fearzly does get a pick, which therefore brings it to a 3v3. RushieZ getting that first blood on Monkyz was caused to pause, but now it seems as if things have evened up a bit. But DeTox is being deadly with that sniper, and we know what to expect from him. Exactly that, right? Good body shot. This opens up a door to maybe get a finish on the Fearzly or Dezo, but he doesn't connect, and therefore Pittsburgh Knights once again get a second or maybe even a third life at this point.
Absolutely. So we're going to see things slow down just a little bit as PK rotate all the way up top. Of course, not only do you get the frag grenades, but you also get map control in the sense that you have the height advantage, you have the angle. Snipe would be really good up there on either side. Yeah, DeTox can keep their heads down, just like saying Clock Tower. When you rotate down bottom with that snipe, of course, and lose up top control, you can kind of just keep the heads down so the Lancers and map control isn't anywhere near as important or beneficial as it would be otherwise. Still, of course, 3v3. Nades weren't able to be picked up thanks to DeTox rotating early. Oh, the shock might provide a good opportunity for him, though. And even a check and a Lancer down could be very useful indeed. Looking for Raver, and he finds it. Excellent headshot. It's now a 3v2. Well played, DeTox.
Who threw the second shot? Clearly, the first one was from RushieZ's perspective. Did they have a second one? Because it made no sense that PK threw theirs on the right.
I think it might have been. I'm not too sure.
It's such a weird placement if PK was the one who threw that, Toby, because it's like you're forcing Raver to move, but surely that was RushieZ, because it would make no sense for PK to do that. Now a 3v2. And Overtime Hill's going to be just up ahead. Pittsburgh Knights, to their credit, they get onto it. They understand if they can get the cap quick enough, they'll be able to win this, but RushieZ, they push forward. If Fearzly's going to die off, Dezo picks up one. Dezo might get two. He can't. RushieZ will win their fourth round, fourth in a row, in fact, to bring it 4-2. And again, those two shocks, I go back to that. RushieZ must have had two of them. Question is, how did they get two of them? And why didn't Pittsburgh Knights have one of them unless one of them just respawned up? Because that was a longer round, so maybe the 90 seconds did pass.
I think this, let's see. It was that was the end, of course. Yeah, but lovely back A, by the way, from INZEM. That was huge. He has to win that, otherwise he goes straight to a 2v2 and he finds the shot. Well played. I think it's because RushieZ just threw themselves across the other end of the map. That's why they got the two shocks, right? It was the PK takes Torpo side of the map and RushieZ take the snipe side. But look at this. Speaking of shocks, PK do read it a little bit better, but they will get the revive in. Meanwhile, Fearzly getting the stick on the Torpo as the numbers shift into PK's favor. But no, DeTox will find the kill on Dezo, who was trapped in the center. Excellent job from RushieZ there, INZEM, aiming across for the snipe, really stopping him from escaping, essentially, allowing them to level up 3v3.
Just like on Regency, Pittsburgh Knights, they seem like they're catching fire and they look good. And then RushieZ shuts them down and they get the momentum back into their favor. And in this case, in this round, they do it once again. They've done it several times, but Fearzly takes it back. Will take down RushieZ. That's going to be a good kill. Now 2v3. INZEM obviously has to be the focal point for RushieZ, and even now more so, Monkyz is really putting the pressure onto him. This is massive, as you said, because now whoever wins this is going to bring it to a 2v1, and one of the rosters is going to have the advantage. You can tell INZEM is feeling confident. Ooh. He is going to clear the corner, and just like that with Monkyz losing the 1v1, it's now a 2v1. On the opposite side, though, it can still bring it to a 1v1 if Fearzly feels confident enough to push the fight. He doesn't. And now Fearzly is by himself.
Yeah, I mean, DeTox was not giving that away. He was instantly out there as soon as INZEM picked up that kill, and he found the opportunity to exit that 1v1 situation. Meanwhile, Fearzly, of course, he needs to do the opposite. He needs to find a 1v if he can, but sadly it's going to be very hard, especially with a snipe in front. A little bit of damage, one stun could be all the difference he needs. Looking for INZEM up top. Very difficult push either way.
Sniper, Toby. That sniper.
Bring down bottom, snipe up top. It's hard. Where do you go? You just need to find the closest one, really. Yeah. Here it is.
Well, he's got to try anyways, doesn't he? Not much time to work with. We'll double back. It's like, do you go for the hill? You really can't. Yeah. DeTox is chilling, and even though he picks up the kill up top, it's not going to amount to much. RushieZ did such a good job regaining control throughout that entire round. We go back to first blood. Pittsburgh Knights gets first blood. But then we hit a nice shot, and I think it was DeTox, if I'm not mistaken, who got the nice headshot. It wasn't with the sniper. I don't know what it was with, but anyways, he gets it, brings it to a 3v3. It's a tense moment, but it was that 1v1 between Monkyz and I believe INZEM, correct? Up top by where nades were. INZEM wins that, brings Fearzly by himself. Some critical moments during that round, but RushieZ showed composure through and through.
Look at this change, though. It's completely different. RushieZ have noticed PK have lacked the turbo completely, so RushieZ is like, you know what? I'm going to get the turbo. What was that from Avexys? Firing the turbo. Oh, was that on Boobas? Does it even matter? 4v3. The stick will come through.
Hell yeah, it was on purpose.
Oh, yeah, just blind fire from a... I mean, I think, honestly, we'll talk about it after. Right now, he needs to get another stick if he can. 4v3. Fearzly, again, looking to close the distance. He needs to
nice.
The numbers. Full red. He will be angled out as a result. I'm not sure if BK can find this now. I don't think they're close enough. Raver has the snipe, though.
Dusted. Done and dusted, Toby. Like you said, Raver as sniper. I'm a big fan of PK, but I'm becoming a bigger fan of RushieZ. The way that they are regaining control is incredible. They are playing so well. This RushieZ on Championship Sunday, Toby, this is a terrifying RushieZ. I can't lie. Monkyz, he's not going to be able to do much. And there it is, 6-2 victory. Ladies and gentlemen, RushieZ fans all around, I know you're happy with that result because now they're also heading to Harbor, map number 3. But most importantly, they lead 2-0, and they do so after regaining the momentum on Regency in the second half and dominating Tomb, but also regaining composure each and every round. RushieZ are looking scary. Championship Sunday, this RushieZ might be built different. Hey guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, map 3 Harbor will be coming your way. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Championship Sunday, and what a championship performance from RushieZ we are getting out of them against Pittsburgh Knights. Toby, they are looking honestly flawless. Really, the only flaw I could say was that first half of Regency, but the second half of Regency and this entire tomb has been flawless. It's not that Pittsburgh Knights are playing bad, because I don't think they are. RushieZ is just playing that much better, and I mean that sincerely.
I'll be frank, I think in this map, RushieZ have just simply outplayed PK. And that's typically what they do, right? It's less about mechanics oftentimes for RushieZ and more about, we just outstrat them. Speaking of mechanics, that Avexys stick, of course, I just think he slid to the cover while trying to aim. I'll be honest, and of course the turbo will cancel out the aim and he's blind fired and hit it like that way.
Yep.
I mean, he is a very talented montage at that while also being a pro. Well, you know, I will give him credit, but nonetheless, Tomb execution 6-2. I think generally speaking, yeah, RushieZ have outplayed PK in a way that it was all about strategy and teamwork, right? PK tried to change it up. You spotted it, of course, at Turbo. Instead of going all in aggressive, PK slowed it down at times. RushieZ was there first, etc., etc. The quick picks, it didn't really matter in the end. Oftentimes that RushieZ lost the Turbo. And when PK did try to change, of course, they flooded the snipe side because RushieZ made that strategy work so well, getting both the snipe and the 2 shocks, of course, very important up top later on. I think RushieZ just simply read it like a book. We're like, oh, you're leaving Turbo now. We're right there, ready. We're ready to read this like a book. We know you're going to try and change strat. Things are not going well for you. And so we're gonna just simply react on the fly with no issue at all. It's kind of like a level of team composure right now that RushieZ are operating under that can really react to anything at this point in time, providing they continue to stop PK in their tracks and don't let them kind of death ball their way like in round 1 and round 2, as we saw. Monkyz leading the way and just getting 2 kills off the rip. So once they manage that, which they seem to have very much done after those 2 rounds, they're flying. They're flying. Their teamwork's there. They're clear. Their comms have to be there to operate at that level. And like you, I am so impressed right now by RushieZ, and they really do deserve their credit. And actually, that's probably surprising a lot of people. I think we both went PK, right? We had 2 analysts go PK as well. And now RushieZ are 2-0 up going into Harbor.
Well, I want to make it also clear, we make our predictions and we stand by them, sure. We want the best match, sure. But I think everybody can echo the sentiment that Pittsburgh Knights and RushieZ, we knew this was going to be a battle, and we knew there was a great chance that one might show up stronger than the other, whether that was RushieZ or Pittsburgh Knights. In this case, obviously, it's RushieZ. This is Championship Sunday, and this day means quite a bit for both of these rosters, but they've also showed a similar struggle throughout all of the majors, Toby, where Championship Sunday rolls around and they don't look as strong as they did on Friday and Saturday, and both of these rosters have suffered from that same bug. And it doesn't boil down to that. It really doesn't. But I mean, really, though, I think for all of us, we expected this to be a lot closer, and it simply hasn't been. RushieZ have just been incredible. But Pittsburgh Knights, Latin America, you got to send them your energy. This is the map. They have to step it up. But already I'm seeing Avexys with first blood.
Yeah, indeed. RushieZ doing well on Winch and Stern. They'll have a nice wipe up top, leaving INZEM just to stay alive. So all he needs to do, and he will do that, ready for the triple cap. Avexys has gone on forward. RushieZ are operating at full pace, all full steam ahead. Question is, has the train truly left the station? Is it just going to keep on going from here on out? PK trying to save this round, not happening. It's going to be a completely blue kill feed, and RushieZ starting off just as they did in the previous round.
Man, it's 1 round. If RushieZ follows it up with a second very quick round, I'm going to have some serious concerns for Pittsburgh Knights. I really think this boils down to, again, because PK can beat any team out there. They're incredible. But RushieZ really does want this more, and they're showing that. But more importantly, I think Pittsburgh Knights have a bit of a mental block now, Toby, that they're struggling to get over, and they don't have that killer mentality that makes them so incredibly strong. Not a single kill in round number 1. Again, if Pittsburgh Knights answers back here in this round with a quick round or a round in general, I'm going to be more at ease. But if RushieZ gets another quick round or a round in general and brings it 2-0, I'm going to be a little bit worried. Great opening kill, though, from Raver. That's what we need to see.
Double kill from Raver on right hand, flying through. That is exactly the aggression you need. Meanwhile, though, down bottom, INZEM will find the kill there, winning his 1v. The Avexys will be hunted down from up top. It looks like, yeah, PK will win the up top fight. There we go. Changing things. Remember yesterday, Taylor, we were talking about this. All you need sometimes is just to win a team fight, to prove you can actually win a team fight and start there before worrying about hills. They've done that. Now they're into it, and I'm sure Raver's feeling very confident about his shotgun going forward.
Ezo, he sees RushieZ up ahead, but he's going to stand his ground for just a little bit. He will drop. This opens up Fearzly for an opportunity to potentially drop, and, well, manages to stay alive, so I like that. Fearzly, though, doesn't want to go for the attack. The utility's out. Fearzly goes for the sprint, but unfortunately doesn't feel as confident to close the gap just yet. But, I mean, RushieZ, does he feel confident to push up? No one's really pressuring him. He understands if he does clear that corner and gets a couple of decent shots on Fearzly, he can get there. But it really is a cat and mouse game, a big mental battle. And, well, Toby, at this point, nobody's got the neutral, but PK's making an attempt, but RushieZ is already shutting that down.
Huge burst damage from RushieZ there with the Boltok. It makes those cover-to-cover slides, if you will, much more dangerous and difficult to make. DeTox holding its shot for an eternity and will find Monkyz despite the movement coming out. DeTox with another double. RushieZ are here to play, and they're doing so well now in those up-top fights. They're looking even for a triple cap potentially as well. It's going to be broken at the very least. DeTox now with the Boltok. His turn. Avexys right on the flank. I don't think they'll reach it. 1 second. No, they're not going to. Oh my, and despite such a huge effort from PK at the start of that round, Taylor, it will be RushieZ taking this one. 2-0 up now. Momentum clearly in their favor. And it's interesting, right? When you put this into perspective with the numbers, right? We had the last Pro League match. RushieZ won 3-1. And it actually included PK winning that 5-2 on Harbor. And now we see a completely different dynamic. Meanwhile, both of these two teams are 2-1 statistically on Harbor this split. So they are pretty much neck and neck. Right. Of course, PK winning that last match between them. With what we've seen so far, though, do you just throw that out at this point and just trust the RushieZ hype train up top? I wonder if PK can turn this around.
I wonder as well. That's 2 in a row. And again, Pittsburgh Knights, strong start, but now I really am worried. RushieZ, I mean, they have the confidence. They're working Pittsburgh Knights like they did on Regency and like they did on Tomb. They're reacting much better. DeTox literally ducks below the shot of Dezo and then picks him up. I mean, what a shot. Monkyz up top, who normally has an impact on that top fight. He's now gone. And Toby, I mean, Pittsburgh Knights, where is that Mamba mentality? RushieZ are so strong, and I'm hyping them up because they need it. Not, well, excuse me, they don't need it. I mean, because they deserve it. I mean, what a performance we are seeing. PK, come on.
They're beating them at their own game right now, Taylor. You know, PK are the ones who like initials. They like execution, perhaps the best execution team of all time in Gears 5 esports history. But right now, they're losing the majority of the initials, and quite overtly as well. Quite clean cut, honestly, from RushieZ. Let's see if they can hold the setup now.
Big fight. DeTox, yo! What is that dance off? DeTox, though, has the moves, baby. He's got the groove, and he's going to get back up into the fight with the help of Avexys. Dazzle does everything in his power, but it's not enough. It's just simply not enough. He's starting to fizzle out. Pittsburgh Knights, well, they're going to have to go on the attack again. Look at the restraint, Toby, from RushieZ. They could have easily pushed at least one player of Avexys to get the decap on A, but no, they don't do that. The restraint is there. The composure as well. They want another fight with PK, and they're not scared of it.
Yeah, and they're not only are they disciplined as a team right now, they're disciplined in the shotgun battles. PK are bouncing around them at the speed of light, and they're just shot holding and just saying, nope, we're going to read you and take you out and get double kill after double kill. Now the Lancers start coming out. DeTox starts leveraging all the shotgun fights and team fights he's had and been victorious with up top, lancering down the push from down bottom. PK realize, again, they have to push up top. This is a Gears 4 Escalation classic map. They know they need map control, but hey, is it too little, too late? RushieZ overextending for that AL. Monkyz has to go now. RushieZ has literally just picked up Monkyz on top of his Retro Lancer.
Yo!
Oh my.
Toby, RushieZ is a maniac. First and foremost, we know this, okay? RushieZ an absolute maniac. He did that during E-Days. I forget who they were playing. Maybe it was Team Queso or something. But RushieZ picked up 3 or 4 retro charges in a row. He secured like $20 from Colin. What am I talking about? Chat, you should know if you're a constant viewer, if you're new, Colin to Crow Clark pays $5 for every retro charge that is connected during a Pro League, an E-Days, or a broadcasted Gears match in general. And RushieZ, baby, you just earned $5, but I know you're going for more. You're going for that first place. What a charge that was. And that just shows not only RushieZ is crazy, which I'm in love with, but also RushieZ are just filling on fire, Toby. My goodness.
They're feeling themselves right now. They are feeling themselves. They're still disciplined, as mentioned, in every area of their gameplay. EK, they're going back up this fight. I'm surprised. We're 3-0 now, down. Do you change things up with the weapon placement, or you still go back and fight this RushieZ team? I think yes is probably the answer for both of us right there. It goes without saying. Avexys on the flank. DeTox does not win his fight, though. Avexys a double kill already. RushieZ with a pinch on the other side. RushieZ yet again win up top.
Toby, I mean, this is heartbreaking to see. Come on, PK. I believe in you guys, I do, but I mean, that belief is starting to really dwindle away. RushieZ have just played so well. It's really insane. Again, on Championship Sunday, RushieZ doesn't normally play this well, but here they are, and this major means a lot for them. Not to get sentimental, but we'll see if they keep this energy up through the losers bracket. There's a lot more work to be done, but at least against Pittsburgh Knights, this series might be all but over with. PK hasn't changed the map, Toby. I think they definitely should have. They're not winning the winch fight. They haven't been winning the winch fight. To their credit, they did win it once, Toby, right? They did win the initial ones, but RushieZ won the round anyways, and that was round number 2. But yeah, you gotta change it. Why are you doing the same thing over and over and over again? And if RushieZ wins this, they're up 4-0, and you change the map. I mean, for what? For what?
PK, they're trying it again. They don't have map control. They're trying to go for the push down bottom. They just get angled out. RushieZ lances a 2 on point. You just can't do it. INZEM with a double. Clean up there. Dezo knows he needs to change things up, and he does by flying at RushieZ. Raver, a kill off screen. Dezo wins that. They're still in this, but DeTox responds in kind from behind.
Come on,
And now I still wonder if they have enough time. Yep, they do, at least in the points department. If you catch your eyes to the top left, it's surprisingly quite close, actually, between the two teams, considering. But PK, 2v1 down bottom for them. So INZEM's been pushed off. They will get B, and they will get map control, but they need to maintain it. They need to hold on to it.
Yes.
It's the important point, and RushieZ have been doing so well on this winch fight.
PK needs this so badly. They need this round, I mean, more than they need air at this point, really. But already, Avexys breaking through Dezo. He's got Charlie in his line of sight.
Honestly, I'm just thinking there, Dezo's on his own. And
Yeah.
RushieZ have had so much time to just broadcast that they're going up top with numbers. Why is DeTox still there? I mean, he was trapped, but is PK going to support him, the rest of the team? So confusing. Maybe deflated at this point. Domination coming in now. Blinking for the time being. PK have to push into the guns of RushieZ and INZEM, and it's not going to work down bottom.
Oh, man, it's over. I mean, it is over. Absolutely, completely over. RushieZ are so good, and Pittsburgh Knights are so deflated. And PK fans, I'm sorry, I really am, but man, RushieZ is just on fire. This is crazy to see. DeTox is 11-3. The man's tearing it up.
It's tough.
Pittsburgh Knights. Do we get a weapon change? We do. Again,
Yes.
but did I not say this, Toby? Did I not say this?
No, it's come
it's down,
through.
you're down 4-0. What's the
In the
point?
second half as well, Taylor. They played an entire half, okay, without placing a weapon down bomb. Doesn't even matter now. The Eagle's up top now. So RushieZ will be like, okay, yeah, you might get a snipe, but we're just going to get E and map control anyway. And we've seen how bad you are retaking that. We have an E-Hill now as well, right? So it makes it even more difficult at that point, even now, in many ways. Raver and Dezo, 2v2 up top, so important.
Absolutely massive. It really is. How's this going to play out? DeTox does get the down onto one. RushieZ has the side angle. He's going to get the pickup. We're now back to a 2v2. But now a 2v1 and make that a 2v9. E has been won. RushieZ doesn't overextend, but they might very well be doing it shortly. But Monkyz, he will stop that push. This round surely will be extended, but maybe I spoke too soon, Toby. Fearzly's being pressured back. RushieZ, they're on the overextension. Monkyz, though, has waken up. But can he get Fearzly back into the fight? At least at most, that stop, or at least that push is going to be stopped, and Monkyz played a large role in oh, no.
Oh, my. DeTox turning on Monkyz right there. Well played indeed. PK have had poor map positioning for the last 30 seconds, and RushieZ have just been ripping them to shreds as a result with lancers and shotguns. Snipe in the hands of Avexys. PK are able to defend close to the home hill, but where do they go from here? RushieZ has flown all the way back. PK need the numbers, and Avexys a headshot to rip them away. Well done indeed. Snipe
It's over.
is in Utah. Oh, Incend always coming to use as well, but not really going to connect on that one. E-Hill finally broken. PK have managed to survive for now. I'm curious what's happening, with the D-Hill. INZEM still alive, mind you, causing so much of an issue. Raver finally finds it, so all right. PK can breathe at the very least, Taylor, for now. But again, they need to keep up this momentum. Monkyz will find a kill. A flurry of kills, some team fights around could change things.
This is massive. Really, it's up to RushieZ now to stop this domination, and he's going to double back. He's going to be immediately put into a 1v2. Utility out hill, not get the touch. Wow, it's not over. Pittsburgh Knights will win a round, but I mean, they do that from winning a pretty concise fight up top. That's really what kind of started the snowball for Pittsburgh Knights to win that round. It took a lot, but that's what it's going to take to come back. Let's face it, Pittsburgh Knights, they're getting outclassed, but if they can come back slowly but surely, if they can win rounds, even if they're close, a W's a W. 4 rounds in a row needed for Pittsburgh Knights, but if anybody could do it, it's them.
They still lost the initial up top as well, mind you, the very start of the round, so absolutely, PK do absolutely need to keep up with that streak. I'm wondering if we can pull up the scoreboard for a second, because I saw really big numbers standing out for either of these teams. We'll take a look in a second, or just a little bit, but look at this first. A really important 2v2 again. We spoke about it. Can RushieZ win it again? Right off the rip, DeTox will find Dezo.
DeTox has 2 more in his line of sight. Does have the right hand, so will he use that to his advantage? He's just baiting out some shots. forcing Raver to maybe overexpose himself. He nearly does. That's a confident push from INZEM. That opens up for him to get on. Oh no, Pittsburgh Knights might lose here. Toby, hold up. The overextension needs to take place. Player 7, he has to get a touch. He needs to get there. He's going to be inches away. Will he get the touch? He will not! He will not! INZEM will mow him down, and RushieZ will complete the 3-0 against Pittsburgh Knights, and they will move forward to losers finals. INZEM, your man that stopped PK. Monkyz thought he was getting a touch, but no, sir, it doesn't happen. The Botox shots will hit. DeTox was crazy. RushieZ was insane, and RushieZ are playing so well. Flawless, in fact.
And that's the scoreboard right there. 14-5. DeTox making all the difference in the up top fight and through the win. He was a huge component of that victory, of course. PK usually the team to rely most on the initials to find the success. But speaking of relying, I mean, look at RushieZ. I mean, they were unstoppable as soon as they come back in the first. Just think, me and you, Taylor, were speaking about how good PK looked. RushieZ were perhaps a little bit flat in the start of Regency, and then it turns around. RushieZ, they find this spark. What better way to spark that off than turning around randomly on the last scrap points of the hill on Regency and running through the PK team on that very last hill? That is huge. That is huge. Let's put this in perspective, first of all, from a global point of view. RushieZ didn't even get the championship Sunday last major, Taylor. They didn't even get there. Right? That is huge in itself. For them to change this around and then do a 3-0 to start off this championship Sunday, massive. They won the Pro League, of course. They've been dominating on Ritual whenever they played, formerly a very important map to United. Most talent were banking on winning the last major. They've done the hard work. They've been practicing. They've been doing so well, and they've just literally 3-0 PK, who won E-Days this split. What a massive, massive win for RushieZ, and boy, are they looking good.
I just realized, everybody probably already realized this, Toby, but that was the last Latin American team in the bracket. Now we have our top 3, and it's Kansas City Pioneers, it's E United, and it's RushieZ. All North America. Caveat, though, you still got Dyslexic. Dyslexic could still very well share that crown with Identives, right? So there is a chance for Latin America to get a small victory, but at least a major win. It's not going to happen this major. They've got one more chance to do it. Toby, I cannot believe RushieZ dominated in the way they did, but I also can't believe that Fallout actually got the victory. We thought we were the smartest guys in a room, but Fallout clearly was the most intelligent. I'm hyping them up. Why? Because I'm just going to accept it as a loss, okay?
Let's hear it.
Reflections all the way, baby. Fallout. Hey, GG's. You actually got the victory. I'm impressed. And I'm going to be honest with you, you picked RushieZ for no reason at all. I know you just picked him just to pick him, okay? So don't act like you're the smartest guy in the room because you had statistical analysis, okay? You picked him just to pick him. Let's face it.
Listen, Toby picked PK because of his statistical analysis bullshit. I throw it out the window. Gut feeling is a significant part of being an analyst in this thing. My gut feeling, plus recognizing and seeing how PK played yesterday, getting trounced. Meanwhile, we know RushieZ, they put up at least a fight, took a map against United. That led me to picking RushieZ, being the sole analyst to pick RushieZ, and being the sole champion of the predictions game to kick off Championship Sunday.
Crazy.
And not only did I tell you, the fact that they did it 3-0 just to help me be proven right just makes me so happy, Ryan.
You're so, I mean, honestly, you're so
I got that out of the way.
Fallout. You're just such an amazing guy. You don't even use product in your hair and it's perfect every day. You wake up and you piss excellence, Fallout. Wow.
Now that I'm getting gassed up, I feel like I can no longer gas myself up. So thank you, Reflection. Jokes aside,
it's working.
Obvious, obnoxious gloating aside, it was a really eye-opening series, and RushieZ came to play today. I can't wait to talk about it. Gentlemen, great cast, great job breaking it all down. Thanks again for the analysis. Y'all suck at predicting. I'm the champion. Goodbye.
You know, I was talking to, we were just talking to Fran about this, because Fran's in the studio this weekend, and I was saying how, you know, he used to give me shit when he played for RushieZ because whenever I'd predict them to win, and they would lose. And Chris, same with Chris, right? Obviously, buddies with Affinity. And then yesterday, I picked them to win, and they lose. Today, I picked them to lose, and they win. I can't get this team right. I don't know what it is. Like, I hold a lot of power with these guys, apparently, because whatever I say, the opposite just happens.
Yeah, so be careful. Never predict them ever again is basically what Affinity and everyone's saying here. As we take a look at the highlights, and here's what's interesting. That's why I said I'm excited to break it down, because yes, they 3-0'd them. They dominated execution, dominated escalation, but this map 1 showed me something, Ash. It showed me the grit that this team has. I mean, look at the score. they were actually early on down by about 100 to 80 points. And what they were able to do actually was on a specific kill outdoors where they were able to ISO Dezonide. It was actually right here. They ISO Dezonide, get that kill. Dezo has an M-bar stuck in spawn, can't do anything, gets taken out. RushieZ picks up that M-bar, goes to work with it. It just showed me that this team has what it takes, Ash.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, everybody talks about the PK, the LATAM heart, but, RushieZ really showed heart in that first map, and I think they captured that momentum and just ran with it straight into this tomb because you can see, once they got that control, everything just fell into place for them. They were playing more confident. They were using their utility well. They were hitting shots with the power weapons. I mean, shout out to, I'm sure we're going to see the Avexys shot with the torque bow. And it just continued to snowball from there. It looked like they became this unstoppable force once they got their momentum, and there was nothing PK could do to interfere with that.
Yeah, you saw the swag and the confidence. So you saw DeTox was doing a bow in the ring as it was capping. I mean, you could tell they were just at a different level of confidence. They were having fun in the mics. I mean, they were rolling. There's just no way around it. They were rolling.
Yeah, the crazy thing is I saw Chaos's tweet para eso and someone responds, lo hicieron mejor ustedes que los campeones de LATAM, which is also saying, y'all did better than the champions of LATAM. Abuelos took a map on RushieZ and they were able to kind of show some fight. Are you more surprised at how well RushieZ did or how poorly PK did?
I think I talked about that during the actual match when we were watching it. Ryan and I were chatting, and I was like, I can't tell if RushieZ is just playing really well or if PK is just playing really trash because it looked like RushieZ was just having fun. And honestly, that's something, even going back to the when I was coaching, if our team was having fun, then there was no way we were going to get touched. And I've even heard you bring that up on some of the past tournaments, oh, they're laughing, it's over. And if we were on LAN right now, I'm sure we would have seen RushieZ up on stage just laughing and having a grand old time because they were having their way with PK.
Ryan, anything to add to that?
No, I mean, I think that Ash is spot on. It looked a little bit like a ranked match at times. Like I said, you saw little things like them bowing in the hill. You saw RushieZ retro charging people at the hills. I mean, those are the kind of things you do when you know you're dominating, right? When you know that you're up by so much that you can pretty much have all the fun you want. That's the kind of stuff that comes out, right? That team came out like crazy. We were looking at that Harbor pick. We're going, man, Harbor's going to really be a telling tale. Harbor wasn't close. I mean, obviously the control was very close. There's no way around it. The control was close, but either way, they just kind of rolled right through that series. So I'm a little surprised to see PK come out this flat. I mean, am I surprised to see RushieZ playing well? No, they're one of the best teams in the game, right? This is a contending team coming into it. We made a whole graphic about them, how they're rounding into form at the right time. So this is not a surprise to me to see them playing well. I am a little surprised to see PK coming out flat on a Sunday. This is a team that's made a lot of grand finals, and to touch a little bit on the Chaos tweet that you pointed out, the reason Chaos is saying that is because they got second place with Chaos, and then they dropped Chaos. They pick up Fearzly, which on paper, I'm sure anyone in Gears 5 right now, on paper, you would say Fearzly, the Fire and Ice team, he would be the better player, all that kind of stuff, better pickup. They've gotten, I think it's either top 4, or top 6, top 4, whatever it is. It's been worse placing since the event they had with Chaos. So that's why you see that tweet come out. That's why you see that start to sort of hit the timeline, is because the reality is they were in the grand finals with Chaos, and they haven't been since they dropped them.
Damn. Now that's a freaking storyline. I almost swore on stream because that got me. I got the butterflies there a little bit. That's a freaking storyline right there. I mean, the big question is, and we have all the time in the world to talk about it after the event, what's PK going to do? There's one more event, one opportunity for LATAM to win a championship, and this roster has not worked out. All eyes on PK. All eyes on this roster. What will they do to close out the Gears 5 chapter and hopefully pick up a championship for Latin America? And we'll have all the time in the world to talk about it. On the flip side, Ryan, I want to say something. Like you said, we all know that RushieZ can play this well. We all know RushieZ is a great team. That's why we had him in the graphic. Kind of true, kind of not. We roasted, let's just call it a spade here. We roasted RushieZ yesterday. I mean, pretty bad. I'm literally doing choke things on stream. Ash is talking about when RushieZ shows up on Fridays. They don't show up on Saturdays. You kind of joined in the discussion a little bit, Ryan. And we got to take an egg to the face. Look, it's Greek Easter Sunday. I'm going to go upstairs and grab an Easter egg and literally just, imagine I do that live on stream. I swear to God I will. And we got to take the egg to the face here because the reality is we called them out for not being performers when it matters. They came in, they said, laughed at us, hold my beer, and performed so incredibly well. And for me, Ash, that's interesting. Like, there's something special about the way RushieZ is showing up today. They're catching steam. That's exactly what you need. I think we might see RushieZ in the grand finals, and who knows? Maybe they can complete that comeback, RushieZ. Or Ash, do you think it's possible?
I mean, it's definitely possible. I'm not counting RushieZ out yet. They did make me eat my words a little bit. They're showing up on a Sunday, which I'm glad to see. But I will say, if any of you are UFC fans, there's always the prelims, And there can be some great fights on the prelims, but there are levels to this game, right? And I think we're about to see the next level in the winners finals between E United and KCP. So I need to see whoever loses that match come down and play RushieZ, and then we're going to see that real test. That's when we're going to see RushieZ going back to that metaphor, playing, for one of their top 15 ranking spots in UFC. We're going to see if they're able to match up to that next level of this game on a championship Sunday. If they can do that, absolutely, I think they're a team that could take down KCP or E United for the grand finals.
Yeah, because they're not celebrating this win like they've won. Like we talk about showing up on showing this and that, right? They're now in the top 3, but these guys have very high expectations for themselves, right? These guys come into this tournament expecting to win, not like, oh, hey, we won a match on Sunday. Now we're here on Sundays, right? That's not what they're looking for. They're looking forward to getting into that grand finals again. They've done it before. They're looking to make it back to the grand finals and win an event. So I don't want to necessarily say that the event's over now because they beat PK this morning. They know they have a lot more work to do. They're going to potentially play a team in E United down below that beat them earlier. They might play a KCP team who we know is a very hot team. There is still a ton of work ahead for these guys, but it is incredible to see them coming out strong. They're going to have a lot of confidence in that next matchup versus a team who's going to have just lost a match, right? So we always know how that dynamic works. When you have one team who's rolling, one team who might be arguing, not feeling themselves too much, that's going to be a good one.
I mean, before we move forward, RushieZ played phenomenally. I don't want to take that away from them, but they beat a wounded animal. And I think, when PK, we've talked about it before, they're a very emotional team. When that control slipped away from them, the series was probably done at that point. So the 3-0, while being very impressive, and RushieZ, like we said, played phenomenally, they were beating on a team that already had beat themselves. So, like I said, this challenge, this next step is going to be the one that really tells me, is this a championship team or is this a top 3 team?
That's a big difference between those things. There's levels to this. And I quote the great Ash, and I think maybe praised or explosive back in an interview a couple of years ago as well, probably. If I remember correctly. He's channeling his optic toxicity. But hey, my man Ash, that's why we brought him on the desk, baby. He's dropping hammer after hammer, mic after mic, and saying it like it is. You beat a wounded animal, RushieZ. What you got against E United, the Kansas City Pioneers, who we all agreed yesterday is a tier above RushieZ and PK. And at the end of the day, PK got 3-0'd. They got bodied by United. It wasn't even close. 3-0'd again by RushieZ. So a small win, but what I'm kind of pointing out here and giving respect to RushieZ is the way they did it. The fact that they showed tenacity, showed grit, and clawed back after being down, starting slow, down 100, and they played with a ton of grit. And I really love to see that. If they can carry that momentum into this next match, I think the sky's the limit. But hey, we got an interview ready. Let's stop talking about it. Let's hear it directly from the horse's mouth. We put some disrespect on their name today. It's about time maybe we put some respect on their name, but there's levels to this. They got to beat the top 2 teams first. Let's go ahead and throw it over to an interview.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Colin the Crow Clark here with the coach himself, Chris Affinity of RushieZ. How are you feeling this, sir?
I'm feeling good this morning. By no means happy yet. It's a long day. Just ready to keep on chugging along.
Glad to hear it. Look, I'm going to hit you with a couple of easy questions, something that I know you're going to be able to break down for everybody at home. Slow start to the control. That a comms thing? Is that you guys still trying to shake off the rust, the morning sickness, as some might call it? Or was it no sweat off you guys' back? You knew the second half was going to be yours.
Normally when we start slow, it's like us losing the first map. This time I wouldn't really call it a slow start. It's more just like they won the initial and they had the power weapons, which is usually going to lead to the first 2 hills being theirs if they play it right. So our comms were fine. We just lost the gunfights on the initial. So I wouldn't say we came out slow today, which is something we need to avoid.
Good. I like that. I like the positivity in that. We go to Tomb. A lot of new looks on Tomb. Are y'all the deepest playbook on the league and in the scene for execution?
Maybe not on all the maps. I don't want to give away too much, but on Tomb specifically, all I'm going to say is we didn't have to reach too deep into the playbook there. We kind of knew what they were going to do because they're just really cocky about the way they run their strats against us. They think we don't know how to react if they don't match us, but, a little bit of VOD and a little bit of planning, and look what happens when you try to do the same thing against us again.
My man hitting him with the Bill Belichick this morning. You've been given a ton of credit by your team this split. I mean, everybody that we've talking to, everybody that we've interviewed has said, look, Affinity is the best coach in the game. Stop sleeping on him. Give him the credit he deserves. Is this your favorite squad of guys to be behind right now in history?
They're just so supportive of each other and me. I'm flattered anytime I hear them go out of their way to shout me out. But yeah, we're a family, and we never give up on any match. You've seen how many times we've reverse swept people or bounced back from a map 1 loss. We're really just boys having a good time out there. Rush is getting in every retro charge he can to run your pockets, and we're just out here trying to have some fun.
No problem. No worries about that. I appreciate him for putting them on stream. It reminds everybody how deadly that retro can be. I will ask you this, though. I got on early this morning just to play around with some friends, jump into some ranked. I saw a couple of your boys in customs at 10 a.m., 2 hours before broadcast even started. Are they wanting this worse than they've ever wanted it before?
I don't know about that. We've always wanted it, but I definitely think there's a sense of urgency now, like knowing the game is coming to a close. Like I said last night, this is the penultimate event. We got to leave it all out on the table. Lenny and Jay were just 1v1ing at 10. Me and Jay were in the Discord at like 9:30 watching their match from yesterday. So yeah, I pretty much rolled out of bed and got on my computer. We're here. We want this. We're trying to prepare as well as we can for it.
How closely are you going to watch that next matchup?
With a hawk's eye. I'm not leaving my computer all day until we win or lose. So whatever they're doing is going straight into Google Doc and into the memory banks.
Woo! Any final words for the RushieZ fans or your family out there?
Our fans are absolutely incredible. We see you all on Twitch. We see you all on Twitter. We love the support, and we really want to deliver for you guys. So yeah, keep rooting us on, keep supporting us. We thrive off of it, and we love y'all. Also, shout out to Reem and the whole group of guys behind RushieZ. It all means so much, everything they do for us.
Affinity, thank you so much for all your time this morning. I truly appreciate you, sir.
Of course, Colin. It was great to be here. Hopefully, I'll see you again today.
Hopefully, we'll get another interview way later in the day, if you know what I'm talking about, Affinity. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Our winners finals is up next. It is the Pioneers versus E United. You don't want to miss this one. Losers got to play that monster waiting in the wings known as RushieZ. We'll be right back.